Hello. So today we will be looking at this Leetcode problem contains duplicate. This is an easy problem. Given an integer array nums, return true if any value appears at least twice in the array and return false if every element is distinct. So for example, if you consider this nums array, over here 1 is repeated at least twice. That means there is a repeat. So we return true. Now consider the second example where all the elements are distinct. That means we have to return false. Similarly, if you consider this example, 1 is repeated, even 3 is repeated. In fact, all the elements are repeated. 4 is repeated, and even 2 is repeated. So we return true. Okay. So to solve this problem, my approach was to first create a lookup object. Okay, and then loop through this array, nums array. If you find if you find the element in the nums present in the object, then that means we have found a duplicate. Otherwise, you have to keep on adding that number to the object. So let us see how the code would look like. Okay, so const, we'll just call it lookup. It would be of type, the key would be of type string, and the value would be of type boolean. So we'll store each number as true or false. Okay, here. Now let me loop through this array. So nums dot for each, we get a number in the callback function, and then we check if our lookup has this num present, then that means this is a this array contains duplicate. So we return true. Else, what we need to do is we need to add this number to our lookup array. So we just assign true to it. If this entire array gets executed, that means there are no duplicates and we have to return false. So I tried this solution. If you see logically, we are creating an object and then we are running a loop on it and then we are checking in the object. But if I run this solution, this will fail and I got to know about it later. So I just wanted to show this why it is failing. So if you see the result, we are getting wrong answer because we are always getting false instead of true. If you see case 2 is expecting false, so we are getting false. But if you see case 3, we are getting false over here. Okay. So basically what is happening over here is that we are running a loop right on the nums array. We are calling for each function. Now for each function basically has a callback function. Okay. So if you have any condition over here and if you return this, this return is only applied to this callback function. Okay. It does not get out of this entire for each for loop. Earlier we were assuming that if you return something over here, it would break this loop and then it would just return to the console. But no, this doesn't work like that. If you return something over here, it is will just going to, because there is a callback function over here. So this return will just return to this callback function rather than exiting from this for each. So in this situation, we will have to write a for loop rather than calling a for each if we want to exit out of the loop. Otherwise, we would have to create a variable and then store it, the whether this is a duplicate or not. But let's just create a for loop. So for let I equal to 0, I less than nums dot length I plus plus, and then lookup of nums of I, and we will have to store lookup of nums of I. Okay, now if we solve this, run this program, this should work. All right, so our test cases are passing. Let's submit this. Okay, so our solution is accepted. Okay, now This was quite an easy problem, but uh, what if there is another approach to it? Instead of creating this object and running a for loop on it, what we can do is we can use the set method that is available to us in JavaScript. So what it does is basically you pass in the array to it, and then it just uh, ignores the duplicate value. Okay. Now how this can be useful over here? We pass the nums array to the set function and we get some input. Okay. So let's say if you pass 1, 2, 3, and 1, this nums array in the set, then we would get all the unique values. So 1, 2, and 3. And then what we can do is we can just compare whether the size of set is equal to the size of the array. If both are equal, that means it does not have any duplicates. That means we'll have to return false. Otherwise, we'll have to return true. So what we can do is we can say const set is equal to new set, and then we pass nums to it. So we'll get our set. And then we can say return set dot size is not equal to nums dot length. So if it is not equal to this, that means we have to return true. Else we'll have to return false. So let's see this. Okay, so our test cases are accepted. Let's submit the solution. Okay, so we've got a acceptance.